and I have started 28 series. And I have 51 started series. And we are at 73 started series. Hi! Hey! Hi! It's me, your Void, and we are continuing series again! And this time it's Nghi! Welcome to the next installation of my series slasher series. At this point, I hopefully have the name down, even though series slasher series is it's a dumb name. Who came up with this idea? I can already tell you that I finished something, so that's nice. I took advantage of great weather and I just set my ass outside, and there is just something very magical about sitting outside in the garden while your puppy is chasing bugs and just reading. We had this giant infestation. There was like a mass hatching of a certain bug. I don't know the English name for it, but I will put a picture up here somewhere. They always hatch during the same time of year. That's why we call them Maikäfer, which translates into May bug. It's a bug that flies around in May. But this year there was like a mass hatching, so they were everywhere, and now they are starting to die out. And Riley loves to just hunt them down and eat them and crunch them. He's not like eating them, he's just hunting them while they try to crawl through the garden, and he's like playing with them. I don't mind, these bugs are really annoying. If he's having fun with it, we just let him have fun with it. It's fine. It's fine. They are not poisonous or anything, so he can crunch them if he wants to. But that's not why we're here. We are here to talk books. I finished Into the Riverlands by Nghi, which is the third book in the Singing Hill cycle. And I have to say, if we keep this trend up, there will come a point where I don't like the Singing Hill cycle anymore. Because I loved The Empress of Salt and Fortune, which was the first book, novella in the series. Then I liked the second one, which was when the tiger came down the mountain. And now we have Into the Riverlands, and I was like, yeah, it's a story. It's a story. It's not a bad story, don't get me wrong. It's not a bad story. I don't know. I was missing some spark. And I can't even tell you what spark that was. It was just something, there was like one element that just, it was missing. I don't know. So Into the Riverlands is still following Chi, and Chi has to go somewhere. I think they want to catch a ferry or something to go somewhere else, so they are in this inn, and there is a fight. A fight breaks out, and Chi, I guess, makes friend with a bunch of people that were involved in this fight. They were fighting for the right thing. There was like a guy, he was a dick, and they were like, hey, how about you're not a dick? And then the dick started throwing punches, and then he got decked in the face. And we followed these people who decked him in the face together with Chi. And we're just on a road trip. We're just on a road trip down to the city where the ferry waits, and the people we are road tripping with, they lived here for a long time, so they know a bunch of the stories around the area. And given that Chi is supposed to be a historian and a chronicler, and it is their job to find and record all of these stories. They prompt and prod these people to tell them the stories, and we are being told the story of Ugly Pig Yi, I think was her name, and the Grave Wraith Chen, and how they fought bandits and were bandits on this stretch of road, and how they defeated a necromancer cult called the Hollow Hand, and then they dished it out over a prize, and Yi knew it was a princess, like a very pretty person, and the Grave Wraith thought it's just some rubies or something, and then they dish it out and they figure out, hey, we are evenly matched, it's a draw, how about we make 50-50, and instead of hitting each other we hit everyone else here. And then they did, and then there was a throuple situation at the end, I guess. I don't know. It was all a wee bit convoluted. Not so convoluted that you couldn't follow it, but convoluted enough that the spark, this fairy tale spark, was missing. And while we are road tripping and hearing the story, there is some bandits doing shit over here, and then there's bandits doing shit over there, and then by the end we get a cool reveal and learn who the bandits were, and that it was the Hollow Hand all along or something like that. I did not quite get the connection between the Hollow Hand and the bandits, but apparently they're somehow connected. I don't know. But yeah, this was, compared to the other two, kind of a letdown. Not the biggest letdown. It was still a good story. It's just that the fairy tale esqueness of it all that I so like about the Singing Hill cycle was just missing. So yeah, I don't want to call it a mediocre read, but it's definitely a mid read in terms of enjoyment. I see you when I have something to tell you. We are waiting for the bin people to go away. Really? Yeah. Love you too. Today's bin day. And I don't feel like screaming over the noise. So we're just chilling here. And I'm trying to prevent my puppy from eating everything in here. Don't tell Mama or Papa that he's not technically allowed in my room, because there are so many things he could eat. But he's gotten a lot better at not eating things and at stopping eating things when we tell him to. And he is supposed to take a nap. But he won't if I'm not sitting right next to him. He's allowed in the first 30 centimeters of my room. I wanted to tell you that I finished another book. I finished Cinderella, or Cinderella, I don't know, by St. Lynn. Oh my god, if you could see him right now, wait. This Labrador doing Labrador things. But yeah, I finished Cinderella by St. Lynn, which is one of the Black trans fairy tales. And I loved Mermaid by St. Lynn, which I think was intended as book 2, and Cinderella is intended as book 1. Cinderella didn't quite hit as well as Mermaid did, for me. Like Mermaid, I read that and I was like, oh my god, this is gender euphoria put in a fairy tale book. And Cinderella just... He's trying to eat the carpet. And Cinderella just didn't do it for me because everything was just too convenient. Like, yes, I get it, it's a fairy tale. We don't need stakes or drama or whatever. It's just about feeling good as a trans person. But Cinderella just... Things were too convenient, if you know what I mean. Things were just too convenient for me, you know? Like, every problem Ella has is fixed by someone with magic. And it's not even obvious magic, like higgity piggity poo. No, it's just a random person shows up at the exact same time and they just know. They just know Ella has problem AYC, I don't know. And this person is like, yeah, let's fix that. And then they just fix it for her. Buddy, that's my dirty laundry. Can we not? Can we not eat my dirty laundry? Can we not? Can we not eat my dirty laundry? So, yeah, everything was just a bit too convenient for my taste. Don't get me wrong, I wish Ella the best. I wish her the best life with her new princess wife, I guess, and bakery life, I don't know. But it was just convenient to a point that made everything boring because you knew everything would turn out well. Even when the bad thing happened, you knew nothing bad would happen, if you know what I mean. So, long story short, Cinderella didn't do it for me as much as Mermaid did. It's still a cutesy, wholesome fairy tale retelling. So there's still something you can get from it. It's just, I wanted more from it, you know? So that was a bit of a letdown. Sadly. I will still read Beauty's Beast because why not? It's not like it's going to take me 100 years to get through it. It's like a 100-page thing. And I think I will now take this puppy out of my room because we've never been in my room. So my room is very, very interesting. He's currently playing with one of my water bottles. It wiggles a little. So he's just nudging it with his nose. But yeah, I'm going to take him to the couch and we're going to have a nap. Please. I love you too. I love you too. See you in the next update. Good morning. It is way too early for me to be up, but I am currently babysitting my cousins, and one of them still has school to attend, which starts at 8 a.m. So naturally I had to be up at 6. I don't get up at 6 a.m. But here I am. And now I'm capitalizing on the fact that it is not swelteringly hot already. And I'm walking that pupper. And while I'm at it, I thought I could inform you that I have finished reading things. I finished reading Beauty's Beast by S.T. Lynn. And if you compare that to Cinderella, it was good again. Mind you, Cinderella is the first one. Then comes Mermaid, which I read like 2 years ago or something. And now Beauty's Beast. And I did not like Cinderella because everything was incredibly convenient. Like all the magic was just there and things just happened to Ella. The thing I liked in Mermaid is that there was a struggle. And then in Beauty's Beast, it is there again. Yes, there is magic, but it's not used in a convenient way. The magic in Beauty's Beast is the thing that cursed the beast. And in that one, you actually have two people who find their true self. More or less, because Beauty in Beauty's Beast, her name of course is Belle, she is already who she wants to be. She's already presenting as female, she's already accepted by the people around her, except Gaston. But I mean, we're talking Gaston here, right? Of course he's the dick. She and her transition is not the core of the story. It is literally just following the beats of the original Beauty and the Beast, or like the Disney version of Beauty and the Beast. And she finds Quinn, and Quinn is the beast in this case, and they are the ones who needed to find themselves through magical means, which in this case is the curse. And it was just a beautiful story. It was just a beautiful, beautiful story. The one thing I would like to critique about it, but that's very nitpicky of me. By the end, spoilers for Beauty and the Beast, I guess, Gaston dies. Gaston gets thrown off a tower of the castle and dies. Presumably because he gets impaled on something. Or he just falls to his death and dies of crush injuries or something. But he dies. And he dies a not gentle death. It's a very messy death he dies. And in the book, Beauty's Beast, again, spoilers, he dies because Belle shoves him off the tower. And there are no repercussions for it. She doesn't even blink after doing that. Which begs the question, is she a psychopath? Has she done this before? I mean, there's hating people, but then there's killing people, you know? But yeah, it was a beautiful story. I like that one. If I had to rank all three of them, because now I've finished the series, The Mermaid is on number 1, Beauty's Beast on 2, and Cinderella on 3. And yeah, that means I finished the series. Yay me. And now I'm going to finish walking that one. And then I'm going to drink a coffee and either capitalize on the fact that I have the entire morning to myself, or I'm just going to go back to bed. I have not decided yet. But yeah, I see you in a bit. late last night, I finished The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson. That ending! That is such a mean cliffhanger. Why would you do that? Overall, I'm happy to announce that this does not suffer from second book syndrome. I can't say if the second book is the weakest in the trilogy because I haven't read book 3 yet, duh. But this one definitely doesn't feel as stale as some other second books in trilogies have. So that's a good thing. It is weaker than the first one though, because it does the same thing as the first one where it just meanders, kind of, and the plot develops kind of without you noticing, and it's just a bit of slice of life of all of these people. But in this one, it is even more slicier of lifer than in the first one, because the plot only affects a single person, really, and that is Leonie. Leonie is traveling the world to find her brother and the super duper evil guy, because her brother is hunting the super duper evil guy, but he hasn't called her, I guess, so now she is hunting her brother who's hunting the super duper evil guy. That is the most plot, I would say, you get. And then you have another character. I will not mention her name because that would be a major spoiler for book 1. But you have another character who is suddenly in a situation where she doesn't know why she is in the situation and she doesn't know what to do with the situation. Someone else put her there without her knowing, and now she has to figure out why and how to get out of that situation. So that is just a slice of lifey, because her plot is just to figure out how to be in that moment. It's hard to explain, but I really don't want to spoil her. Again, talking about sequels, kind of hard to do, especially when there are massive spoilers at the end of books. Another perspective we have in here is Theo, and we now see Theo's struggles, because now she has to navigate life as a girl. Like she always wanted to, but lo and behold, being a girl comes with its own set of problems. So now she has to figure that out, but she's also affected by this other storyline of this other person. So there's something going on there. And Elle has her own thing going on as well. Like everyone has their own thing going on, and they don't necessarily touch each other until the very end. And the one thing I don't like about this book is Leonie's storyline, because it is so far removed from everyone else. She's literally traveling the world. She's not even in England for most of the time. Like she's everywhere but where everyone else is. And because we have all of these other perspectives in here that need screen time, her kind of big plot doesn't have time to be big. Her traveling the world, encountering all of these other witches, all of these other covens, having to deal with that because of international relationships, hunting down her brother, hunting down this evil super duper warlock, that could have been its own story. And because it had to be shortened that way, it felt kind of flat. There is a really big thing Leonie discovers, and then it is made irrelevant a chapter later. Literally, the next chapter you get of her, this ginormous discovery is literally destroyed and made insignificant. She found the equivalent of Witch Atlantis, and then we never come back to it because we make it kaput. What? And all this super duper discovery is used for is to seed the MacGuffin, to give the MacGuffin a place to be. And that MacGuffin is literally a MacGuffin. We're not told about that MacGuffin until like halfway through the book, and then by the end, the MacGuffin does what a MacGuffin does. It becomes pointless. It is just a way to get people from A to B. And the ending, technically this book has 2 endings, but it's not really an epilogue you get. There is like 2 endings. There's an ending to the main storyline, and then there is a 5 days later or 5 weeks later ending. I don't even know, but there's like a tiny time skip at the end. Everything after the time skip, amazing ending. But the thing right before it is just dumb. It's just dumb. Because the entire climax is dumb. It should have stopped somewhere else. It should have stopped like half a chapter before. Because we have witch finders in here. Men hunting witches. Because of misogyny. Not necessarily because, oh, witches are evil. They just use that as an excuse to hurt and stalk and kill women. We should have focused on that more than on the MacGuffin, in my opinion. Because we have a character in here who is personally connected to the witch hunters, but also to the witches. Why can't we spend more time on that character and on that problem instead of running after that MacGuffin? You could have still had the ending the way you wanted it to have, but it would have had more impact if it were without the MacGuffin. I hate that I have to be this vague, but otherwise I would spoiler things, and I don't want to do that. Not a bad book. I would definitely not call this second book syndrome, but it is definitely weaker than book 1. I would give this 3.5 to 4 stars. I don't do quarter stars, but this is somewhere between 3.5, 4 stars. And now I have to decide if I want to read something smutty or something incredibly smutty. Because I only have Little Wings of Fate and Mastery by Alethea Faust left. So it's either weird monsters stuff or kinky wizards. I apologize for any whooshing sounds, it's quite windy, but I had to give a little progress update because I did some things, well, we did some things. As you may know, I am very proud of the roses that I care for, but they are sitting in a flower bed that was just incredibly ugly. So we made it not ugly. We made it pretty. These will be used further. We want to put a little pond down here. Hello, Riley. We want a little pond right here, and these rocks will be the edge of that. But we planted some shit, some pretty shit. Look at that. There is a puppy. So these are just some pretty flowers. These ones as well. This is lavender, because my mother loves lavender, and this is great for insects. We have a lot of insects here, and they apparently keep them away. This is hibiscus, because my mother really wants a hibiscus, especially after she saw the thing that is just growing wild in the non-existent neighbor's garden, as in the garden exists, but there are no neighbors, it's just an empty building. And then we have some herbs back here. This is sage. This, I forgot what it is. I think this is thyme, I'm not sure. I also have no idea what that is, and that is, I don't know the English word for that, but it's the stuff you smell in churches, because they have to exorcise the devil. That stuff. We have 3 of those, because they can actually live in the shade, and all over here is just shadow, most of the time. And you can see where we shortened the entire thing. All of this was covered in ivy, by the way. We also had to cut back this thing, because it was like where I'm sitting right now. And we are going to put more of these all the way back there. They are currently resting with the rest of the chaos that is the terrace. Yeah, back there are more of those plant stones. This is our new grill for the barbecue. And all of that stuff is currently back here because these carpets arrived yesterday and we want to put them here. But in order to do that, we had to first clean this shit of weeds and stuff, because I don't know if you can see it, but this is like some sort of moss or something, and we have a lot of weeds growing here. So we took care of that, and then the carpet can go there. And then the huge dining table, this one, with those chairs. And this is part of a lounge set we had before that's going to stay here. But yeah, we're fixing this garden up real good. I still have no idea what I'm going to do with the side garden. I can show you. Like, I have all of this, and I don't really know what to do with it because there's no sun here, like, ever. It's also, like, right across from the neighbors, so whatever I do, they will see it. Because that's the non-existent neighbors. And this is the sad hibiscus plant that no one is taking care of. Last year we tried to steal some of it and propagate the hibiscus ourselves. didn't work. So now we got some from the garden center. By the way, this is the backside of the planting thing. Also, this apple tree, if anyone knows how to fix this, I don't know. I think this, like, there were some cats in the neighborhood that use it as scratching posts. Now that we have Riley, they are less present, but they still come around. The tree is going strong, but I'm concerned that this is now inviting bugs and birds to feed on it, and I really want to keep this apple tree because it's spitting out a bunch of apples every year. And that would be actually really cool to have the apples, you know. Stop eating the roses, buddy. Come on. Look at these. Look at these beauties. We need to take care of the ones that stop flowering, stop blooming, so that the rest of them can just go. But yeah, we now have pretty flower beds. Good morning. I am very tired because I had to get up very early and I went to bed very late. So that one's on me, but we're not here to talk about that. I finished Little Wings of Fate by Clio Evans. Wow, my brain is just not there if I had to think about that. Yeah, I finished Little Wings of Fate by Clio Evans, and yeah. Not a lot of thoughts going on. It's a Clio Evans monster smut novella, so that's also what's inside. So the novella is, as I thought, about two angels, and one of them is trying to find a human mate for the other one. That is the general setup, but the second the barista does his thing, as in he matches souls, he the first angel also is like, kind of like that one. So in the end we have a male throuple going on between two fallen angels and a human. And this time the human has a personal connection to the barista. He is his tattoo artist, and he apparently was cursed at birth to just live forever for some reason, which then enables both of these angels to be in a relationship with him in the first place, because one of these angels, a very grumpy boy, he cannot touch mortals without killing them. His touch is lethal. So, like, he has to cover himself head to toe if he wants to, for example, sit in the car with someone else. So these two angels immediately fall heels over head for this guy, and one of them has lost a wing in a previous installment of the series, and this tattoo artist manages to give it back by just putting on one of the most amazing tattoo displays on the back of this angel, which then leads to some emotional healing. So we heal the angel with just one wing through this tattoo and through this art, and we heal the grumpy guy by just giving him the opportunity to touch someone without killing them. And both of these angels are sons of Lucifer, and Lucifer is a key part in this novella, because this is now the final novella and Lucifer is coming back. I think it was the third or the fourth one, where a random demon, who's the main character of that novella, just nuked Lucifer back to hell because he was annoying. But now Lucifer has gathered his strength back and he is back in the mortal realm, and he is like, yeah, no, I'm done with hurting the people around the barista. I'm going to hurt the barista now. So the next novella is them dishing it out, and we see this struggle a bit more clearly, let's say it like that, because the angels are Lucifer's children, but also Lucifer and the barista are exes. So the barista is kind of a stepfather to these angels, and the angels are talking with him about all of that stuff and how they don't want to be around their actual father and stuff like that. And Lucifer visits his sons and is like, hey, the fuck you doing with humans? And they're like, well, we fuck them and we love them. And yeah, I like this one. This is one of the better novellas. I enjoyed my time with it. I liked it. So now, hopefully, it will not take me another year to finish the fucking first wave of Creature Cafe. Clio Evans has announced so many more installments of the second phase of the Creature Cafe series. I gotta get my shit together. I need to finish the first wave, then I need to go through the claws and warts stuff, because that is technically between the first two waves of the Creature Cafe series, if I'm correct. Because the leading female character in the first novella of that series is the daughter of one of the couples in the Creature Cafe series. So I kind of need that to be in order.
Thankfully, those are only 4 novellas, so... But I need to get my shit together, because it's just a bunch of novellas. How has it taken me so much time to finish this? This is not okay. What? I also started my final read for this vlog. I started Mastery by Alethea Faust, and at 44 pages in, this book painfully reminded me of the fact that I have a type, and the type is Arlon. Ooh boy. It was one day of coloring. For context, Dom and I has trouble with casting in the Sex Wizards universe, which basically means you have to Dom, and Dom doesn't know how to Dom. He feels not quite comfortable in doing it, so he has this casting block, and Arlon is like, okay, I'm ready to help you, but in order to do that, I want to collar you, and that is a high protocol thing in kink. Like, it is very involved, there's a lot of negotiation going into it, it is one of the highest forms of submission. That is what's happening. Arlon is collaring Dom for a week, and they go through this high protocol, and it took me one day to be like, I'm not that far into it. I'm on page 90, and yeah, I just know I'm going to enjoy my time with this. This is So yeah, be informed. I started my final read for the vlog, and I am having a good time with it so far. Like, it also just reads so easily. I don't know what Alethea Faust is doing with these books, but like, you sit down, you start reading, and then you blink and 100 pages have passed. What is this magic? It's kink based. That's all I know about this. So yeah, I will get back to you once I have something to report on.
He had this thing for less than a week. And he's already performing violent neurosurgery on it. Poor little piggy. It did it, Baelor Targaryen. Holy shit. Ah! Rest in peace, little piggy. Time for another precarious balancing act of the camera. I literally, like 2 minutes ago, finished Mastery by Alethea Faust. I have a type, and that type is Arlon. But now that I know a bit more about Bridget, I want to see her bringing him to his knees. It is well established, and the way Arlon reads, you just know he is more of a caster than a conduit, aka he's more of a dom than a sub. But Bridget? I just know Bridget can turn him into a slobbering mess, and I want to see that. I really want to see that. I need to see that. I swear, if it's not happening in the main books. I know there's an origin novella about Bridget and Garrett, and I know there is an origin novella with Arlon in it, but I don't know if Bridget is the one casting or if it is Fawn, the Grandmaster that brought him into the Crux. But I need to see Bridget casting with Arlon as the conduit. It is a need. It is a need I have. I need to see that. But yeah, anyway, Mastery, it's the second book in the Sex Wizard series. Dom and I has problems with casting after having been a conduit in the first book, and throughout this book, Arlon is helping him figure out why he has such troubles with casting and to get through it. And turns out, it's imposter syndrome. It is years of thinking he is not good enough, he doesn't deserve it,
it is a confidence issue, and Arlan identifies it, and he manages to get Dom through that, and by the end we see him successfully casting, and what a casting it was! What? But to put all of the smut aside, which is a lot of smut because it's still a sex wizards novel with a kink-based magic system, there is a surprising amount of plot in here. Like, actual genuine plot. And you don't have to wait the entire book to get it like you had to do in book 1. In book 1 you have 75% smut, then the plot hits, but in those last 25% of plot, there is still a lot of smut. In this one, you have, again, you start off with a bunch of smut. You get like the entire week that Dom is colored without a hint of plot. There's a bit sprinkled in, like, repercussions from the first book, but other than that, it is just smut. But after that week, after Arlan identifies, okay, this is the issue, this is the kind of conduit you are, this is the kind of person you kind of need to be a caster, and this is where you're at, this is where you need to get. After we establish all of that, we get plot. And it's a good plot. It's mostly dealing with the repercussions of what happened in book 1, and I'm very glad that we're not just brushing that off, even though this book is set 6 months after the fact. We're still actively dealing with it, and we meet the people who were affected the most by it, and we help those people get through it. And it's just, I'm just so glad we didn't throw it away, because it is a heavy topic. It is a very, very heavy topic, and it is not something you can just brush away off page after 6 months of a time skip. So we actively linger with it. We see people struggle with it. We see people struggle with it even though they thought they got through it. So we see a wide range of what something like that can do to you. So I like that. And most of the plot you get in here is about that and how people deal with it. But we still manage to push the overall plot of the series further, which is that a wizard was kicked out of the Crux for violating the stop rules. Because it's a kink-based magic system, a stop is the most holy thing you can say. You have to respect a stop, period. And this rogue wizard was kicked out because he violated a stop. And now he's like doing his own thing and is attacking the actual wizards of the Crux. He is attacking the kingdom, blah, blah, blah. And he does that in a very, very bad way. And that is, I believe, now the overarching plot of this entire series. But also, we have been thrown into some political struggles because of the actions of this wizard. Every wizard is now under scrutiny because the king has a 50-50 stance on does he like magic, does he not like magic. So now we meet the king, and we meet his opinion on magic and how he deals with the situation, fully aware that this is a bad egg that had nothing to do with the Crux, but at the same time, he has to honor the general vibe of his people, which are now very wary of wizards. I am once again baffled by how good the plot is for a book that is called the Sex Wizards series. This is fascinating. This is so fascinating. I'm baffled. I am baffled. And I very much enjoyed this book. Yes. I am very glad that I have the rest of the series. Yes. I probably won't read Championship right away, which is book 3 in the series, because I now read Initiation in May and Mastery in June, and it is really a lot of smut. I think I need a break, but I would like to read Championship soon-ish. Not only because the next book, Homecoming, is coming out in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, by the end of June, but I want to read the entire series this year. I want to catch up, at least with what I have, and Odyssey is a chonker, so yeah. Long story short, I really loved Mastery. Good shit. And I'm looking forward to reading Championship, but I'm taking a break from the Sex Wizard series for now, and we'll read something that is not that smutty. Maybe something that doesn't have any kind of dick swinging outside of trousers or something. I don't know. I need a break. But that concludes this episode of the series slasher series. I have read 6 books for this installment of this series, and I finished a series with the Black Trans fairy tale retellings by St. Lynn. I finished that series, so that's nice. Everything else was just continuations, but for the Creature Cafe series and for Her Majesty's Royal Coven, it is the second to last book, so I'm about to be done with 2 more series. So overall, very, very gay and very, very productive. Good stuff. If you made it to the end of this video, let me know if you have read any of the books that I have picked up, if you've finished any of the series I read in this here video. If you don't want to talk to me at all, leave a... Is there a key emoji? If there's a key emoji, leave a key emoji in the comments below. Otherwise, leave a lock emoji down in the comments below. I know there is a lock emoji. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I guess I will see you in the next video. Bye!